one game over Nova. Winning this will send them into the semifinals on Saturday, taking on Team Noob.
Of course, the team, if you're the side of Nova here, you lose this, you're facing relegation, and that is not where they want to be, because don't forget, every week teams have to fight to stay in the top 8. This is not just a free pass, because they open up so many new opportunities for teams to come in through the open bracket. So, of course, you don't want to go back and potentially face that relegation. So there's a lot on the line here for these teams. It's more than just points. There's also pride on the line.
Pride is in the hands of Royal, being the royal majestic individuals that they are. Pride, obviously, you slick your hair back, you've got yourself a nice lion's mane, but those lion's manes are looking to be covered in the blood of their enemies, as they are looking a very strong early game composition here against Nova Esports.
And this time around, despite, as I said, that strong early game composition, not wanting to do anything too crazy and aggressive to start things off here. We saw some ridiculous early game rotations to start off game number 1 there. We saw the triple buff going the way of Team Royal. Not going to be having quite as much success here. The Thane, not a hero we talked about a lot here, but let's discuss that a little bit more here in the early game.
This Thane roam is going to be extremely important. You have two very different playstyles that Y01 has made a transition from game 1 to 2. Much more support, backline distance protection that you saw with the Alice. Now it's in your face all the time, and when you're going up against a composition like Royal, you need to be able to have that execution power available. Thane's ultimate doing just that.
He has that indeed, but now it is iFlex with the target of the ire of Royal. Control here is going to be the name of the game, as the Dragon is spawning here in the bot lane. It is going to be all 5 members, or 4 members I should say, from the side of Nova going to be here. However, Zenio doesn't have level 4 yet, so he's not going to have the ult. He's not going to be able to join this fight. If you're the side of Royal, I almost think maybe you try and look to force that while you potentially, at least on an even, or at least on parity, I should say.
Instead, both of these teams are going to respect that line of scrimmage that is the river going down the middle of the map. They're going to get themselves a little bit of a reset onto this. Now, I want to make sure that we keep in mind with the jungle matchup of Dark versus Hakai. We've seen Dark have his moments of presence, but Hakai's game 1 definitely provided a little bit of an extra advantage.
It definitely did. I mean, you look at the early game there, and Hakai, again, he's someone who either goes off or he's a bit of maybe a liability for his team.
He will walk out of the lane phase 5-0 or 0-5. There will be no in-between. It is high risk, high reward, feast or famine for Hakai. I mean, come on, he was playing from a wedding, for goodness sake. So it's all in, but whether it works out or not is definitely the question mark for Royal's team.
He's not a man who's afraid of commitment, let's put it that way for sure. He's going to commit to winning that lane matchup as best he can, or at least...
Unless it was his own wedding.
Yeah, I mean...
Can you imagine? Honey, I love you. Thanks for the wedding. Oh, BT Dubs, hang on. I need to go play this game real quick.
Hey, and hopefully, if she gets it, I mean, that's something right there. But right now, the first blood is coming in now. Once again, going over for the side of Team Royal. They are committed to winning this in 2 games. Let's put it that way, as they now look to rotate towards the Abyssal Dragon here, and there's no snipe coming in. And already, we're starting to see a repeat. Game number 1.
And this is what we wanted to see from Lady Kappa's Superman. We wanted him to be able to have on the roam. We didn't want to be these very solid, standard, slow side lane matchups. He needs to be able to use flying mode on that Superman and show that cross-map pressure. He's able to do just that early, securing themselves an early Abyssal Dragon. And now, this is where the rotations of Royal, we're going to get to see if they're able to repeat that process in game 2.
We'll see if they are here, because Nova's showing, hey, we can do it too. The pop there going up in the top lane, shutting down that Omen. This has not been a good day for Omen so far. As we saw the damage coming in from Sevka once again, we know how strong he is in that situation when he's allowed to play his own game. But now it is gone to protect potentially the target. Ooh, not quite able to find it. Was Y01 the charge, not in position there in time. That could have potentially been a
All
close.
5 ticks of that Tulin passive went straight to the face of Restless, and when you're able to get the cyclings that you saw, it was half HP before Restless really got even to do anything else.
That was not a lot of fun here, but the L'Oreal, the matchup here, I'm surprised we haven't seen more L'Oreal today. Praetor sort of being the priority, but we know how strong she could be in the right situation. Late game, we've seen clutch 1v4 situations if you were watching on Saturday. People like me losing my absolute mind.
I think a lot of people lost their mind on that.
That was a great play. AD's Heroes play was absolutely sick. That was, if you haven't seen that clip, at some point, not right now, but at some point, go back and watch that. That was really cool.
It was a pretty little dicey play. The fancy footwork the AD's hero on that L'Oreal was pretty spicy. Something you have to go and check out. We are at the 5:10 mark, so the Siege minions are going to be starting to join the fray, allowing for a little bit of a quicker tower take if you have the individuals there as Spirit Sentinel #1 is going to go over in favor. Nice little hefty advantage that they're going to get from that nice little golden experience.
That is exactly what they're going to be looking for here. 11.5 to 10.5. Literally the only difference right now is the Dragon coming in for the side of Team Royal. Team Nova is looking a lot more solid here in game #2, clearly finding a composition they're a little bit more comfortable with. And I think a lot of it has to come down to the fact that Royal, whether intentionally or not, has been a lot less aggressive.
They're forcing the resets, but more importantly, they're having their support players preemptively join the fray on the mark. You can see Y01 as well as Dark there immediately. You're going to have a little bit of a fight break out. The Abyssal Dragon will find itself very low, but it will end up forcing the reset as the fights have happened. Lady Cap has joined the fray, but he's forced to go around the mark because Nova has done a great job at securing themselves a nice little effort. Kappa will end up punching down Dark, sending him to the gray screen. So it's a nice little trade back and forth, but 2 for 1 in the favor of Nova.
A nice little trade there indeed. The split damage coming out. The second we thought the side of Nova was going to crumble, the clutch heal came in there. The support play from the side of Nova looking, as you said, a lot more solid here. Finding, I think, a little bit more confidence on the heroes they've chosen this time around. The Thane, I think, just being a little bit more, able to be a little bit more aggressive, playing more into the playstyle of Y01.
And you take a look at the composition that you have coming out of Royal. They don't have the ability to be as aggressive as they wanted in the earlier stages. They don't have the Lubu on their side this time. They don't have the range of the Lindis. And so as a result now, you're going to see Restless do a great job. But 200, 300 gold lead in favor of Royal. However, that being near negligible with the great play in these counter-jungling efforts here by Nova.
Yeah, I was going to say, despite the fact that the kill the advantage is coming in here, we do have a nice, pretty much gold parity here as Ganja can be the target, but actually great peel Hakai, and that's the Red Stallion going in Dark, the follow-up there, but pushing him back into the tower. That Superman is such a threat. There is a reason the tower to follow it up. There is a reason the Superman is so highly contested, and he's just such a bully. You're seeing it there, Jump.
Dark did not find himself in a good spot. When you get in these situations where you get pushed back by the Superman into the enemy tower, you kind of just have to, throw your hands off your phone and go, well, gonna just have to use this time to do some finger stretches because the gray screen is inevitable.
Assuming you're like having your phone on a desk, don't just drop your phone here. Come on, let's be. I don't know.
I mean, phones are pretty tough.
There these days. You put a nice little case on it.
Have you seen the power that the Razer phone has right now?
I was going to say.
You can drop this, not suggesting that people drop the Razer phone, but if they do drop it, it's going to have a little bit more durability than what some of these other phones are kicking off.
That's true. So in that situation, if you're finding yourself pushed under tower by Superman, just hope you have a Razer phone. That's what I'm starting to hear. But now we're looking at the mid game coming online now for both these teams. The items are starting to get there. We're going to see which side is going to have the better scaling. And when I look towards Nova, I'm actually favoring this. The late game L'Oreal, the Joker, even the Lubu, and we've seen how powerful and tanky Zenio gets. This is going to be an uphill battle for Royal.
But I'm going to be the devil's advocate and say that this is not going to work unless they can force the 5v5 team fights. You've already seen talented player on that Omen secure himself the first turret in the top lane. If the members of Noah cannot force him to be on the map in these fights, he will absolutely demolish on a split push.
He will indeed. We're talking about the split push right now. Opting to give up the Dragon here is Royal, forcing out this top side. And I like this decision making. Switching target priority away from the Dragon, it's less valuable in the late game. Let's open up the Slayer side. It has spawned. It is going to be a point of contention. That's fine. We'll give up the Dragon here. We're going to get the split push across the board, and they are still ahead in goal, but it is now very, very close.
Much slower game that we saw as talented player will catch himself out. He's going to get a nice little speed up as Sivsky's going to have to be forced to walk away. We'll get not as much of a slow. Forces the flicker out of talented player. So he is going to be forced to back off, but Nova doing a great job at saying, hey, we are here. Just because we lost game #1 does not mean we have the capabilities as a unit to keep up with you here in game #2.
And Restless now in game #2. His pay-to-play was part of the reason they survived so long in game #1, and already we are seeing him being such a threat here on that L'Oreal, dodging the Spectral Ire coming in from that Ryoma as well. That was sick. That is the kind of little heads-up play that I look for from these players.
And he's got himself the second item power spike as well, over the Magi as well as Aegis. So he's going to have a little bit tankier stats as well as his ability to kind of dodge and dive in with that ultimate that we know and love for him to see. Once he gets that third item completed, gets himself an extra 10% of cooldown reduction. that is where this L'Oreal is going to shine in these team fights.
It is indeed, but it's going to be hard to shine when you're going to be pushed around by a Superman. The nice dodge, though. We do have the Injure Hakaiza sending out in no man's land, and he's going to fall as we do have that damage reduction coming in from that Zenial. The pushback from Superman is not going to be enough. Once again, the speeding bullet is there. You just look at him. You see him standing tall with that Kryptonian strength, putting them out of position with the Zenial.
I loved the immediate mechanical prowess of Restless on that L'Oreal. Knew that he dodged out of the fight, used his Endure to create that invincibility and that immunity just long enough for the cooldown on the Blinks to happen again, is able to come back out of the fight. Meanwhile, he's still in his ultimate, so the cooldown reduction is happening. Great mechanical play by Restless to understand the limits of his hero, as Nova was able to get themselves a solid reset on that fight and try to get themselves a little bit extra health to fight again.
Royal playing inside the Smite, thinking, we have the Superman, we can make it work, we can push him out of it, we can survive, but no. That was a really nice play coming in from Nova, and I have to say, considering how game number 1 went, I thought that maybe we were just going to see a repeat here in game number 2. I thought maybe Royal was going to come out and snowball. I thought maybe we were just going to see a swift 2-0, but Nova is showing they have the maturity, they have the fortitude, the strength of will to come back and survive in game number 2, going toe-to-toe with a team that just demolished them. And now it is Ganja, the target here, forced to use everything to try and escape, but it's not enough.
Great rotation by Nova to understand that the team wasn't there. Hakai, meanwhile, is going to be able to pick himself a kill up onto Dark. Dark pushing himself a little bit too far, too close for comfort. Denalians, meanwhile, is going to have all sort of the protection. And there comes the Superman, the Man of Steel, being just that as he pushes the way the 2 tanks of Nova and forces the reset, a 1-for-1 trade.
That was actually huge, dodging out the ult coming in from the Thane there. Tulin was absolutely dead, and Royal actually denied Nova from grabbing that dragon. It was a couple autos from going down, and Royal was able to secure that not getting that here. So that's actually big. That could have been so much more from Nova. They were so close from just getting a huge lead in this game.
And so now we're at over the 12-minute mark, one of the slower games that we've had from both of these teams, actually, in the Valor series. Understanding we don't want to push ourselves up too much. Wave is going to be able to be coming in. You've got a little bit of CC coming at a Y01, but meanwhile, Hakai's going to say, nope, that's going to be mine. Lady Kappa will run in front just long enough to get himself that flying mode and force Y01 back. Seb's going to have to be, of course, to join the fray. Denalians as well as Talented Players are going to come in, so all of the effort that you had coming out of Y01 to defend that turret will result in the tower going down in the meanwhile, as well as his death.
There comes a point where you just maybe let him die. And that may have been the instance there, as so many resources were just committed by Nova to try and keep him alive there. And resources they're not going to have now to maybe attempt to find the Abyssal Dragon. Maybe they can take a fight there, but Royal knowing exactly how much they could take and then leaving, that is a mark of a good team.
It was the too much of it. It's just a tier 1 tower. Y01 wanting to protect that a little bit more than what he should have, losing the life, and Royal being able to capitalize and set themselves extra resources in the process. Abyssal Dragon going down now, starting to float the momentum in their favor. You've got the 1-hit tower in the mid lane. That's going to go down with one more little auto attack, and boop, just like that, Denalians will secure that. Now you've got almost 1,000 gold advantage into their favor. However, one team fight could still rock into favor of Nova.
It could indeed, but it just goes to show that one tiny decision here in the game of Arena of Valor can change things completely. The decision to try and contest and deny under that tier 1 tower, and it cost them a kill, and the heal, and the resources, and the dragon, and the mid tower, and that is the snowball that we're talking about. One decision forcing out an entire team rotation, losing pressure across the map, losing a major objective.
And then.
That's what it comes down to, though. One decision, one bad call here, and suddenly this nice little lead that you were trying to develop for yourself, it's gone.
It's gone indeed, as posturing begins by Royal around the Dark Slayer. They have to be careful because you do have great counter posturing coming out of Nova, floating themselves on the top side of the map. You do have the ultimate available from Sivska, so he's just going to split push on the bottom side. Lady Kappa recognizing this will initiate, not instigate, he's initiating that flying mode, pushing up on the bottom side of the map. 20 seconds until the next Abyssal Dragon is there, and so these teams waiting. Pixel Brush being hit here by Hakai. He's going to be able to go in. He's going to have a nice little engage coming out of 0-1. But Ganju will be on the back line, but here comes Lady Kappa.
Lady Kappa is going in Restless Founder in the middle of the enemy team. The rest of the support is trying to follow up there. The Endure is there, but no! Going to be taken down despite the healing coming in from Zenial as well. That is a massive pickup coming from the side of Royal. They're just splitting them apart right now, trying to take the nuts up. Castanetra on the back line, pitched around though by that Superman, the re-engage the Malleus, but it is not nearly enough as the team has split the engage from Royal. Thane went in, but there was no follow-up.
It was biting off a little bit more than you could chew. Thane saying, charge! Uh-oh, probably shouldn't be there. And as a result, 3 members of Nova are going to go down, but more importantly, objective, something that Royal prioritized in game number 1, will secure in game number 2 the Dark Slayer and the pushing power in favor of Royal.
Everything is going the way of Royal. They came out a little bit slower in the early game. Not playing quite as aggressive, but they have shown that their mid-game prowess is here. This team has grown so much over the last few weeks, and they have come back now, fighting their way back here into the upper bracket to do so much work here right now. And now they are looking to advance to those semifinals on Saturday as well. Royal is looking, I said, as good as we've ever seen them right now. Nova, they need to flip the script. They need to try and make something happen here. It is all on the line for them.
And so now another tower goes down into favor of Royal. You've got the second inner turret on the bot side going down. You've got the Slayer buff that's going to allow these pushes to go much, much quicker. And now this is where we get the next test of Royal. Now that this is a spot that we've seen them in before, getting themselves the Slayer, getting themselves the inner ring as an advantage, but it's going to be able to take the turret as Sivka decides to go in on the back line.
Sevka is actually getting pushed out there by Lady Kappa. Not his call at all, as you can see him just getting shoved around. And Jump, I think
Guys,
this is
no.
going to be, no!
Hello?
Hello team? Team, this is not where you want to be. And Jump, I think this is the difference maker. You asked for Royal to show you their aggression. And this is what they can do. You can't siege a high ground against a Superman. That is why this is the most contested hero in the game. Don't give up the Superman because he just will not allow you to stay up there and be safe. Look at the initiation, the follow-up, the Omen, the damage that's there. The high ground tower is going to drop as well here. Skanja might one more. Ooh, barely going to survive. But look at the pressure that Royal is building.
Luckily, the last changes have made it where you get 80% high ground tower reduction without the minions, and so that's going to force Royal a little bit of a rebuttal. But in the meanwhile, that rebuttal is going to be short-lived, as it is going to be the clean ace, and with that, you're going to have the minions on the tower, and just like that, Royal might have found themselves a slow start, but Royalty reigns supreme as the victors come out of Team Royal.